What's up, YouTube? Scooch back here again for another video. Today we're going to be talking about the 5 things that I love about this Delsol. Quick heads up, it was not hard to find those 5 things. I've loved this car since the day I picked it up. So yeah, be sure to like, comment, subscribe down below. We've got 5 things I love about the Subaru, 5 things I hate about it, and also another 5 things coming about the Honda that I hate, which was a little difficult to come up with, to be honest. But yeah, so be sure to hit that bell notification too. I upload videos every single Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. And yeah, so let's get right into it. So the first thing I love about this Delsol is how much legroom it has. From the outside, it is a tiny car. You would not think that it has this much legroom. As a matter of fact, with the seats all the way back, it actually has more front legroom than my STI. And that's anybody that knows, that's a substantially bigger car. So this has been very comfortable on, the road. I haven't taken any long road trips yet, but as far as just going back and forth to Providence every day, I expected the car to be a little more, jarring on the bumps and, not as comfortable, but the seats, the bolstering is fantastic. It's just an all-around very comfortable car. The suspension on it is great out of the box. I don't know if it was ever replaced at one point, but if it hasn't been, and the car is still sitting on 26-year-old suspension, it's really, really good. So that's one of the big positives I've had to say about this car. Second thing I love about this Delsol is the trunk space. So it has all the room in the world, and it even fits the top back there. So you take the top off, it fits in this bracket, you lock it into place, and it's just great. You can fit a couple of coolers back there if you wanted to go, on like a weekend trip to like some, a beach town or something like that. You could fit you and whoever you were going with, all of your stuff. It's really comfortable. They're not comfortable, but you can fit everything really, really well in there. So that's a nice feature. And yeah, the trunk space is just really top notch in this car. I have no complaints with it at all, and you wouldn't expect it out of something like this. Third thing I love about this car is the engine and the power on it. So yes, it's just an inline 4. It's nothing fancy, but what it is having the B16 out of the factory is what all of these Delsols should have come with, and they didn't. Some of them came with, there were 2 different D series that came in the lower trim level cars. There was like, your regular D16 that was a single overhead cam, no Vtec. There was another D series, and that was the single overhead cam, but it did have Vtec. The B16 is the dual overhead cam with Vtec, so that puts out 160 horsepower to the crank out of the factory. I'm sure I've lost a couple of horses over the years, but that equates out to 100 horsepower per liter. So when you put that in perspective and you think about the other cars that was, going against at the time, or even just cars that were being made, there were V8s, Mustangs, Camaros that were not putting out that kind of power. So it's really pretty crazy when you think about it, what this car is and how they were able to squeeze all that out of it. I don't remember the exact torque number off the top of my head, but it's not very high. I don't even, if I remember correctly, it's not even close. So that's one of just one of the few things. And the Vtec on the car, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but when you wait for it to hit, it just makes it more fun. I gotta slow it down, but it revs all the way up to 8,200 RPMs. That is ridiculous. Like, I can't think of other cars besides Hondas that rev up that high. Yeah, I mean, you got the S2000, which revs up to 9, but back in '94, an engine revving to 8,200 RPMs reliably was kind of unheard of, to be honest. There wasn't a lot around like that, and none of the other D series rev even close to that high. I believe they top out around 7. The single overhead cam with no Vtec might even be around 6,000. So it's just a really impressive car. And like I've said in my other videos, I've never really been a Honda guy since I was into cars. Yeah, I know their tunability, and it's been great in that sense, but I never just pictured myself driving one. I just never did. I figured, if anything, it's a daily, just get a Civic, get an Accord. It's reliable, it's easy to work on, but this car is truly enjoyable for what it is, and it's just, I find myself very surprised every single time I get into it with the fact that I actually thoroughly enjoy driving it in its stock form. Yeah, I'd love to have a turbo or a supercharger on it. You know, I'd love to get more power out of it, but in stock form, it's still extremely enjoyable to drive. The handling on it is fantastic. You know, for what it is, it handles really well. Being front wheel drive, it's just an all around great car, and I find myself raving about it constantly, which I never thought I would do. The fourth thing I love about this car is how simplistic it is. There's no real amenities to it. Everything is just as basic as you can get. Now, they did put power windows in this car, which is a little surprising, but also not surprising because the back window goes down. So unless they want to put a crank system back there, it makes sense that they put power windows all the way around. The driver is actually automatic, so you just hit it once, it goes all the way down. Passenger side is the same way, but not something I feel like you saw too often in the mid-90s. So that's kind of cool to me. And other than that, you got cruise control, which is awesome. I mean, you know, again, not something that's uncommon, but it's a very basic car. You've got your heat, your AC, and I mean, this has an aftermarket radio, but you know, that was about it. It had a tape deck back then. Like, it's just a very simplistic car. It's built for driving. No extra amenities, no ABS brakes. So it's all you. It's all pedal feel, everything like that, and it's just a really simple car. There's all these modern day sports cars have all these different drive settings and everything like that. Turn the traction control on, turn it off, all that stuff. This doesn't have any of that, you know. And I mean, growing up in this age, you just kind of come to expect it. But for the longest time, obviously, there were plenty of cars with none of these extra amenities in them. You got in a car and you drove it. That was it. And when it was a sports car, which this is classified as a sports car as slow as it is, you drove it. It was there for driving. It was there because people enjoy driving. And I feel like that's not really a thing anymore. I feel like people don't necessarily just go out and drive like they used to. Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with how high gas prices are and things like that. And there's so many more people on the road nowadays, but people used to literally just get in their car and drive. That you just go for a drive. Watch any old 90s TV shows, specifically, like I remember one was like Full House when I was younger. Uncle Jesse had like an older, I think he had a Mustang. I think it was an older like 60s Mustang. And he looks at Aunt Becky, he's like, "You want to just go for a drive?" And I remember thinking, like, that's not a thing anymore. People don't do that. I still do that. I still just go for a drive. I love driving, but nobody really just gets in and goes places like that. Nobody just drives for the fun of it anymore, I feel like. And I think that's kind of sad, but I understand it's a different day and age, and, you know, things change. Last but not least, the fifth thing I love about this car is its removable roof. If it wasn't 40 degrees outside today, actually I think it's closer to 30s, I would definitely be taking it off. I had it off a couple weeks ago. It was mid-January and it was like 60 degrees out here in Massachusetts, so I took it off and I rolled around with it. It was great. It was still kind of cold, but it was great. I take this roof off as often as possible. The only time I won't really take it off is if I'm going to like a friend's house. It's like 2 minutes up the road. Even then I'll sometimes take it off. I've always wanted a Targa top, and before this car I was looking at like C4 Corvettes because I wanted a Targa, which again, a C4 would have been a horrible daily. Good thing I didn't get that, but I've always just loved the style of Targa tops. I think they're such a cool idea. It's like having a convertible. It's like having just an oversized sunroof, but it's still a convertible. And with this back window going down, it gives that illusion of a convertible because you get the wind and it just comes right through to the back. You know, not like a Corvette or something like that where you have the window back there, like the Camaros or, you know, Firebirds with the T-tops. It does feel more like a convertible because that back window is missing. But yeah, no, it's honestly, it's just great. That is by far my number one favorite thing about this car, and definitely one of the big reasons I went to look at it that day at my friend's house, because I'm figuring, okay, great, I get a Targa top as my daily. It's got the reliability of a Civic. Yeah, let's do it. So yeah, definitely my number one thing. But that pretty much wraps it up for the 5 things I love about this car. Definitely stay tuned. We're going to be doing, like I said, I'm going to be doing one on I'm going to do 5 things I love about the Subaru, 5 things I hate, and then another 5 things that I hate about the Honda, which, as I said, was a little difficult to get. Keep tuned. Coming up in the next couple weeks as well, I'm going to be looking at my friend Mike's 1,000 horsepower Mustang GT500. He's got a lot of work coming to it. We're going to do a walk around on it, and you know, he's going to talk about his plans for it and everything like that he has lined up to get done. So that's going to be really exciting. I've only seen that car, I think, once since he picked it up. He got it in the fall, so we haven't really seen much of it. But it's an incredible car. He had a GT500 before that unfortunately he got hit and it got totaled, so he never really got to do what he wanted with it. But then he found this, and you know, we'll get into it next week when you see the video. But yeah, be sure, like I said, like, comment, subscribe below. I put out videos every single Sunday night, 5 p.m. Eastern time. And yeah, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. I really want this channel to grow. And like I've said in previous videos, I want people to see what I'm working on, because I feel like I'm working on cars all the time, and I feel like there's a lot of cool content that I can be uploading. So if I can get this to grow and share that with people, I think that would be awesome. So other than that, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.